That's better.
Yeah, talk to him one time. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad I got my jacket on, but now I gotta take it off because it's heating up. Heat it up.
Word
to your mother.
Word is bond.
Word is James Bond.
Oh, episode 32. 32. I can't really think of anything that goes with 32. But
come on, man.
Magic.
This is a
magic episode. Come on, baby. It's magic.
On, I like seeing magic in all the Final Four commercials.
Yeah.
I like how they put them in there.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know these guys.
And then there's like I think like a Pepsi one or something. And he's like, they're talking about like the best Steelers. And they're like Jordan Poole. And they go through and like Magic's like, it's magic. And he steals it.
That sounds like magic. But yeah, episode 32. Just for you, it's magic. You know how we do. Little word flow to start the episode. We have a guest with us. I would say for the second week in a row, but it wasn't in a row. So it's just another week.
Yep.
With a guest. Alexis Linton.
Oh.
I know
Lexy.
her.
It's Lexy.
Yeah.
My bad.
She yelled at me last night because in our training session, I kept calling her Alexis. She's like, don't call me that.
I didn't know if you wanted to go by your stage name or not.
Yeah.
No, it's Lexy.
I went by your birth certificate name.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, don't do that.
we've got that covered. Lexy Linton joins us. I know her pretty well. I've trained her for a long time. Practically raised her. Yeah. Welcome.
Just a little bit.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, so you know the deal. We're gonna recap real quick, weekly recap. You want to jump in first?
Sure. Quick little player highlights.
Let's do it.
You know, with the season being over, we have a lot of like all-star games. You know, we talked about this person a lot, Danielle Williamson out of Staten Island. Talked about the Federation and kind of what that is. It's basically the number one team in all of New York. And it's a...
I did find out it's by class, though.
Is it by class?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's like the A class, AA class,
And those...
AAA class.
And they don't play each other.
Not to my knowledge.
Got you. So, well, anyway, the first time in, I believe, school history, you know, St. Joseph by the Sea won the Federation Championship in their class.
Let's go.
Again, she's only a junior, technically a sophomore because she didn't have a freshman year. And, she had a monster game, and it's awesome to see, you know, like we've always said, you know, her hard work is paying off, and it's still cool, you know, texting her, and she's still getting up early before school, working out.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, the grind doesn't stop, you know, she's not satisfied. And AAU season's coming around. So, you know, just trying to build off of that momentum. So that's that.
Sounds about right. Congratulations to Danielle.
Yeah.
Big dubs. I was going to say like a height joke, but I won't do that today.
No, off your game a little bit.
No, good job. Proud. Hoop Lab is always proud to see those kids, you know, come out on top. So
yeah,
definitely kudos, big props, all those good things. What else? Anything else going on this week?
Other than that, we have the men and women's Final Four in the national championship. By the time you listen to this, you'll already know who wins. Right now, I think, you know, UConn has a really good chance on the men's side.
Thinking UConn?
And then, you know, my sleeper in the women's, I think LSU is going to pull it out.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Do
I did.
You know, like the last time they played. You know the score?
Nope. South Carolina beat them bad.
A lot to a little. I mean, I'm hoping it's not like that
Yeah.
for the championship game, but
Well, man, it's March, man. So
yeah.
I live for the underdog.
Yep.
I live for the
But
underdog.
before that, there's Iowa State and South Carolina, which should be a good one.
Just Iowa, right? Or is it Iowa State?
It's Iowa.
My bad.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Iowa. My bad. I mean, y'all knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I got you. Wait, who do they play?
South Carolina.
South Carolina plays Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who's LSU play?
LSU plays Virginia Tech.
VTech. Okay.
Yeah.
I still got LSU.
Yep. That should be
The
good.
coach dresses really nice. she's fly.
No, so those games should be good.
Yeah.
What about the men's? You got UConn on the men's side.
Yeah, I think they just look too strong, man.
They do look good. They
You
do
know,
look good.
Again, like, on the other side, you have San Diego State and Florida Atlantic. Again, shout out to Jalen Gaffney because he's, been in our I'm Possible program, our checklist. And, I hope, again, I root for the underdogs, but I don't know, man. Watching UConn just demolish Gonzaga.
Yeah. That's a big difference. Yeah.
And they're loaded. Like, I think they had their second five in with like 9 minutes left to go, and they were still, kicking butt.
Yep.
So I don't know. That team just looks on a roll.
Yep.
But
I think I'd agree with that. Obviously, you guys will know the outcome before this comes out, and depending on the outcome, you may not even hear this part. So,
yeah, facts.
but yeah, no, those games obviously we're looking forward to. Trying to think of anything else that might have gone on this week, but it's been just a grind. All the kids that have been getting their work in for preparing for AAU. I know some AAU games started already.
Yeah.
So
there's tournaments going on this weekend.
Yeah. So I mean, there's no break. It's right back into it. Best of luck to everybody through their AAU season. Wish them all good health, and let's keep grinding.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Lex? You got a week?
Nah.
Oh, that's what a week, man.
Just been chilling.
What a week.
Playing basketball. Going
Why
to the ocean.
are you in town? Where?
Spring break.
Spring break.
Yeah, we know that. They don't know that.
Come on.
Yeah,
now.
it's spring break,
And what college university is on spring break?
Kent State.
Kent State. The big ass
Big-ass
lightning bolts.
bolts.
Shout out Scott Van Pelt.
Awesome. But yeah, so
How are you enjoying your spring break so far?
It's been lit. Been catching up with family,
Nice.
chilling with the dogs, coming into Hoop Lab, going to the ocean.
Oh, it's gotta be cold at the ocean.
Well, I didn't go in the water.
Oh,
I just looked at it.
You don't polar plunge.
Oh no.
It's supposedly be good for your body, for all athletes.
I
You gotta
bet
do it
it
at
is.
least once a week.
I feel like it's like an ice bath.
Yeah, but you don't have to sit in there as long. You just get like 2 to 3 minutes tops, and you get out, and you're good.
Nah, that's crazy. I don't know that.
yeah, I'll pass on that too.
Yo, I heard you get the best sleep of your life if you do that. Just 2 to 3 minutes. Just suck it up.
You know who's not gonna find out?
Y'all, you too.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm like that one that still takes like warm showers in the summer.
Shoot, I'd go in with like all my clothes on. Like that, I wouldn't go in just like a bathing suit. I would go in like with a shirt, socks.
Yeah, I feel like that would be worse though.
Hey, there's some layer right there. It ain't skin on water, bro. That's how I used to do my ice baths in college. Like I would wear socks. They had like actually like they almost look like oven mitts or gloves for your feet. That kind of had like a thickness to it, so it wouldn't like actually like just freeze your toes off. But I would go in with tights and I don't even know what they're called. But that seemed to help a little bit.
Like
Upload a picture right here.
Wait, were they like compression socks or thicker than that?
No, they like literally just slipped on over your toes. Because I guess a lot of people would get like I don't know about frostbite, but it would like be very numb for their toes.
Oh, okay.
I have to look it up. But it was awesome.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. It's almost like you know how what do they got? Wetsuits,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it was like almost like a wetsuit glove for your toes.
It was a wet sock suit.
I don't know. We'll have to look it up.
Man.
Amazon.
But yeah, man.
Amazon has everything.
All right. Well, there you go. Polar plunges, ice baths, and cold water. Good for some people.
The way to live.
Yep.
Oh man. So, real quick before we jump in, I wanted to. There's a couple things that, and maybe Lex, you can chime in a bit. One of the things that I'm kind of, I don't want to say it was the highlight of my week, but it was one of the things that I started to ponder. That's a new word that I'm adding to my vocabulary. Ponder. But it was. I was talking to one of the players, and as we're going through and we're basically getting film and things like that, they were concerned with how they looked if it was going to be posted on Instagram or something like that, and not from a talent perspective, but it was more of a I guess cosmetic. How they looked cosmetically. Is that the right? I don't know if that's the right word, but their physical appearance. And I've seen that a lot, especially with young women, where they start to talk about just their appearance and how they're afraid to maybe post to social media because it has to be the perfect thing. And as I was going through that, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was we need to do a better job of just understanding, I guess, or maybe teaching, or maybe getting across that there's no perfect world. There's nothing that's perfect. And I think some of that may be, I guess, hurting players in a way, right? Because one of the things that we've talked about in here is we're trying to get them to be more part of social media, be active on social media definitely as far as the recruiting process. And if they're worried about the cosmetics, if they're worried about being perfect all the time, then that limits the number of things that they can post. And ultimately that limits the exposure and, attraction that they could get because they're just getting buried in the algorithms and things like that because they're not posting enough. So I guess that's one of the thoughts, and Lex, maybe you can chime in with that a little bit. Is what is your feelings towards being perfect in social media, and where do you stand with that?
Well, when you said players worried about how they look on the social media and stuff, I think that, well, if you watch these March Madness games, you obviously players with eyelashes or their hair done or all this makeup on. But I think that's more of just a personal thing, whereas okay, I look good, I feel good, and I can play good. So I don't think it's for more of okay, I need to look good right now. I don't think it's more of that.
Right.
I mean, it might be for some people, but I think it's more of just I look good, feel good, play good type of thing. But I just don't agree that I don't think you need to look good to be put on social media. If you scroll through any TikTok or Instagram, you'll see you'll see pictures where people don't look good, like, and they're like, why would someone post that? Well, who cares? Like, we don't look good 24/7. We don't look good all day every day. Like, we play basketball. You're not gonna always look good sweating, fighting for a basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think your personality is bigger than how you look. So
Nice. Yeah, no, it's actually funny. Again, there's that word that we always say.
Funny?
It's like, it's not funny, but
it's not funny, but it's funny.
no, one of
giggle.
the Cavender sisters. I want to say it was Haley. She actually, if you guys don't know the Cavender sisters, the twins, they make, I don't know, a crazy amount of money on NIL and social media, TikTok. They play for the Miami Hurricanes. She posted a video and she was in the locker room and she wasn't like, dolled up, if you want to say. She didn't have any makeup on or anything. And the message that she was trying to get across, it was maybe like just promoting something. And as you click, they have little comments there at the bottom. But as you click into those comments, it's literally like everything is just bashing the way she looks. And like that's, again, for her to be and her sister to be very wealthy teenagers in college, they're getting their point across of maybe doing their marketing or doing their promotions. And I think maybe that video can hopefully show the younger generation, like, hey, they don't really care, at what they look like, because again, you watch them and they look like they have a big personality. They looks like they're fun to be around, and I think it was, personally, I thought it was cool because they didn't take the time to go and do the makeup and do the hair, and it looked like she just maybe got done with practice.
Yeah.
But it's sad, with the world right now, because everybody can hide behind their phones and, you basically can say anything you want. I think that's where, like kind of and again, I don't know if it's going to change, but it definitely needs to take a turn where, like Lex said, your personality is way bigger than how you look. So,
yeah.
Hopefully that video can transpire to other players and kind of just see like, hey, whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just as you were talking about that popped in my mind.
No, I mean, I think that's a good point, and I think that it goes beyond that because I think part of that, obviously, there's the the physical appearance that people are aware, that they're kind of fearful of, being put on the Instagram and social media that way. But then it trickles down into other things or other mindsets as far as, hey, maybe as a basketball player, maybe I'm not as good as such and such, or I'm not as good as, this person or that person, because all they see are the highlights that are posted on Instagram and things like that. And I think that's where we have to get a better understanding of the social media and things that we see are it's like a best of mixtape.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not seeing the struggles that everybody has gone through. You're not seeing the downside that everybody has gone through. So even when you're seeing somebody, that's really, really going through and playing hard through a drill, or they're doing their best and they look like they're killing the drill, I can almost guarantee there was 30 minutes before that where they were, struggling or whatever the case may be. So I think that's the message that I'm trying to get across, as we kind of talk about this is everything is not going to be perfect. Everything is not going to be, what do they say, unicorns and rainbows. And that's okay.
I think it's sunshine and rainbows.
No. I remixed it.
Okay.
Unicorns and rainbows, right? So all that to say is like we're working together to try to get kids a better opportunity, players a better opportunity to get recruited, get seen by college coaches. And part of that is letting that guard down that everything has to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, it trickles back to training, right? Because I've said it before, and I say it to players that get frustrated all the time with our workouts, because you do see nothing but all the great stuff going on, right, on social media. So then that's gonna make kids, wishful and hopeful, like, oh man, I wish I was like him, or man, I hope to be like that person. But the beauty of it is you never, as trainers, we get to see the struggle, right? Just like an actor and actress, they struggled before they hit the big screen. But the cool part I think that we do is we take videos of all the failures, and really just show that player, kind of give them more visual aid of what they're doing, and then how to attack it differently. But they're okay with us storing those videos and showing, more players that come in, maybe that are younger. Hey, it's okay. This player has this, ranking, or this, his stock is up here, her stock is up here. This is an NBA player, and they're doing the same drill you are, and they're messing up.
Yeah.
So, I've done that a million times, shown, past players that are in the NBA or have a good ranking or whatever it is. And it just kind of gives the younger generation, or the younger players, or players that maybe have never done that, like kind of like a sigh of relief, like, oh, I don't have to be perfect right away, right? So it's like, oh, wow, he messed up too, or she messed up. And, it's a good reminder that, one, our workouts are challenging.
Big facts.
And two, it's, like I said, it's a sigh of relief that, everyone is going to fail. Everyone fails, and they don't succeed right away.
Yeah.
And if you are succeeding, you're probably doing something that you're already really good at. And before that, how did you get good at that? You failed before you got good at it. Yeah. So, and you tend to have a very short memory of the things that you failed at, because you succeed at them, a month down the road, or a year later.
Yep.
Right. So like I couldn't remember, all the times that I failed at doing our drills. Right. But now I succeed at them, and I'm like, man, I can't remember me not being good at this.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that quick little memory that you have. But no, I mean, I think that's where, you can have a relationship with a player and just be like, hey, listen, we're not going to bash you, or we're not going to make fun of you, but, we're showing you these things that help you. And if it's all right with you, we would like to also relay the message to other kids, because they're going to be going through the same thing. And it's just going to ease their mind. Like, they're going to see you do the same thing. You mess up, they're going to mess up. And, that's just how you get better.
Yeah.
So I like that approach. I'm glad that we have the ability to do that, and the players that are willing to do that. And again, sometimes we even post it on social media, a couple clips of them messing up, and then the next they're getting it, they're understanding it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's one way to go about it if you're a trainer, or a coach. But just make sure you guys are on the same page, and you're not just showing it to blast the player, but to help that player and to help other players.
Yeah. Lex, what's been your experience with just failure in general? How do you look at failure?
Well, to start off with, like, I hated basketball growing up. Like, it was not fun to me. Like, I hated it.
Wait, why did you hate it? Like, what made it bad?
Did your parents force you to do it?
No. But I grew
you
up,
had this guy sweating bullets over there. Say no.
I mean, I just
kidding.
answer.
I'm just kidding.
I grew up playing soccer, and that was like my first love. So that's all I wanted to do. Wait, funny story.
You have to say sidebar.
Sidebar. So one time we were up in a soccer game, like it was like I want to say like 10-0, 8-0, something like that. We were winning.
Jeez.
So they wanted to
In a soccer game?
yeah.
Yo, you shouldn't have quit.
No, listen. I guess my coach wanted the goalie to score do something spectacular. So they put me in the net. And all I remember is my dad behind the net trying to coach me because he swears that he played goalie, but I ain't never seen no picture. I've never seen proof.
All right.
But I hear him trying to coach me in the back, and I was sitting in the net like, what am I doing? Like, I'm scared the ball's about to hit me in my face. So I hear him like, go left, go right. I'm like, whatever, bro. Tell me why they came back. The game was tied 8-8. I think that was the end of that, but yeah.
No, that's a good message. Parents, stop distracting your child while they're playing. Because that 8-0 soccer game will be an 8-8 soccer game. One of the highest scoring soccer games of all of Little League.
I want to say it was the second half too. But yeah, so then I went to basketball, and I guess I just did so much of it from then on because it was the only thing I had that I just started liking. I didn't really start taking basketball serious until like freshman year of high school. So I came in kind of late, but I wasn't good. Like, yeah.
Not that you weren't good. You were athletic.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of a bucket, but but I just wasn't a standout. Like, when I started doing trainings with him, like I couldn't do any of the cone work. I couldn't do any of the footwork. It's still hard for me, like especially when I come back from school and I've taken like a couple of months off from this stuff. Like I see all the little kids doing stuff better than me. I'm like, dang, missed a lot. But yeah, I definitely wasn't good at this stuff before. It was a progression. For sure.
Yeah, so there was there was a failure to that, and I guess to kind of slide off of that a little bit. One of the things that I always tell parents is, well, first of all, how would you describe like the early years? So maybe before sophomore year, before you started taking it serious, how would you describe our relationship, like in trainings and coaching and stuff like that?
Yeah, we butted heads for sure. It was just like, no, it wasn't working.
Right. I'd say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
it wasn't it.
One of the things that I say the reason is, and maybe you can either tell me that's reality or it's not reality, is I think sometimes when, whether it was we were at home and I was telling you to, clean your room or do something like that, or do the dishes or pick up your clothes, whatever. Do you feel as though that sometimes crossed over onto the basketball court?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm playing basketball. Like, why were you still telling me what to do? Like, I didn't like that. I kind of wanted to just do my own thing, and he still telling me to do this, that. Like,
but that's the reality of it,
Yeah.
and I think that's a strong message because so many parents are dealing with that. They're trying, or they think that they're helping their kids get through the games and the practices, when in reality they're not making it that much better because their tone, the tone that they are talking in is no different than, clean your room or do the dishes or whatever the case may be. And I think that's one of the most difficult things about it.
What's really cool too, this week is the McDonald's All-American Games. And watching the boys Bronny James had a great showing. He went 5 for 8 from 3-point land. Now, I think he made his 4th 3-pointer, and LeBron and his whole family is sitting courtside. The commentator actually said, Bronny doesn't look in this. He said Bronny doesn't look into the stands. He doesn't look at his parents. He only looks at the coaches when they are talking. But everything else is literally tunnel vision within the game. Right, so it's almost like if you look at the basketball court, there's walls on the out of bounds line, right? For Bronny, Bronny's dad is arguably the best player to ever play, right? And for Bronny not to look at his dad, and for his dad not to chirp at him, I mean, I don't understand that. How as parents or childs, how are you not almost looking at that situation? And then you see Bronny has really come into his own, right? Yeah, they're going to talk off the court, but when Bronny's playing, like Lex said, I just want to play. I just want to be me, right? And for a lot of players, like, I was always told basketball court is my office, right? I don't want to be distracted. I want to do my thing. Like that's just kind of your getaway. Yeah. And for Bronny James not to be heckled by his own dad, who's arguably, like I said, the one of the best players to ever play, that should show parents not to do that. Yeah.
Because you're definitely not the greatest player.
Yeah, because you're not LeBron.
And some of you haven't even played, so what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
He is LeBron, but he's not LeBron.
No. He's talking about the parents.
Dead.
Okay, cut that
out. No. I mean, it's just listening to that. I wish I could find the clip because I would love to play it, on our social media. But
yeah,
if you listening have ever just kind of watched a Bronny James game and seen LeBron on the court, on court side, they're literally just sitting back. Him and Savannah just sit back. Yeah, they're clapping. They're celebrating. But you'll never really see them interact. I don't even think you will see them interact.
Yeah. Well, not now, at least.
Not now. No, I mean in the younger days.
In
for
the younger
sure.
days, he was like that typical AAU parent. But I think we see the growth in that alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And since that time, you've seen the growth in Bronny as well. Do you know what I mean? So you can't I agree with you. His approach to taking step back, whether that was intentional or not, once he did that, at least from the public eye, you've seen Bronny take some leaps and bounds as far as his growth in the game. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the cool part. LeBron never shot that well, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the beauty of it is Bronny's not going to be LeBron. Right, he's going to be his own player. So if LeBron tried to make Bronny be like him, I can almost guarantee Bronny would hate basketball. Yeah. Right? So you're not letting, and we talked about it a little bit, is you're not letting the artist paint its own painting on the canvas, right? Yeah. So it's, you like you said, you help them out, you give them tips, you're on them off the court, maybe a little bit when they're young. But at the end of the day, you just got to let them paint their own painting. Yeah. And again, LeBron never shot 5 or 8. And, he wasn't that shooter. He uses his athleticism. And again, Bronny's 6'2", 6'3". He's got Savannah's genes in that aspect. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not even a parent, and that was an eye opener, listening to what that commentator said. And then throughout the game, you watch him and you're like, man, this dude's just locked into the game. Yeah. He doesn't care about anything outside of the game. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I think that's just, again, it's just, being able to appreciate that growth from a parent perspective and a player perspective. It takes a lot. And I think that's one of the things that parents can do is just, sit back and let them kind of take on their own journey, or like you said, paint their own canvas, paint on their own canvas. But yeah, Lex, what do you how do you? I think that we have a very, I don't want to say unique situation. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is when you were even before sophomore year a little bit, you talked about how you were really a soccer player. And one of the things that I also talk about is kind of the environment that you were growing in, right? Being a kid from South Jersey where basketball is not really, I guess the word is prevalent as it is, in Shore or North Jersey. What was your feelings in that? Did you notice a difference when, you started coming around the Shore versus being in South Jersey?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, South Jersey, like, no knock to any player, but there's not really any big name players over there. I mean, you have the Lexitarians, the Amanis that went to Duke, Loyola, them, but it's like when you come down here, you're playing a D1 player every game. Mm-hmm. And when I came down here to start training, like I was training with the Faith Masonuses and players like that, and it's like, wow, like I'm not even nearly as good as them. But in South Jersey, I was like the big dog, but I came down here and I was just like nowhere close to them. So kind of was like, okay, yeah, I need to get out of there and start challenging myself a little bit. And it took me a while to get down here because I didn't want to leave home. I just didn't want to leave home. So it took me a while to get down here. When I did, I enjoyed it. I had fun playing against those players every game, just having fun with it. So yeah, I mean, I think I really did grow from it. Well, I know I grew from it. I knew I grew from it.
Yeah.
So what about like, I think that's a big challenge for a lot of people, whether it be, along their basketball journey, changing teams or going from this school to find a better opportunity for them. What about not wanting to leave was the difficult part? And what do you, if anything, wish you would have understood?
I think when you're an athlete and all you do is train for your sport, you don't really get time to hang out with your friends. I think that you realizing that there might be a better opportunity out there somewhere else, but you still want that time to hang out with your friends and you still want that time to be a kid. But you have to realize that like not everybody has that same mindset as you, or not everybody has that same goal as you. I think that once that clicked for me, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, they're not trying to reach the levels that I'm trying to reach. They're not trying to go where I'm trying to go. They don't take this serious. So when I came down here to be around people that do have the levels that I was trying to reach or do have the same goals as me, everything just changed and turned around.
And I think you see that too a lot. I know we talked about this a little bit, but even just traveling outside of your 15-minute radius. Because, like I just mentioned, the McDonald's All-American for the boys and girls, and the two co-MVPs were from South Jersey, right? Hannah, how do you say her last name? Hidalgo. And then, did I say that right? And then you had DJ Wagner, right?
Yeah.
But two from South Jersey, but you see them, not sticking into that, into their own little, bubble. They venture out. They travel to play. I'm sure they travel to train. They travel to all these locations. And I think sometimes parents just get wrapped up and it's like, man, well, it's 14 minutes away, man. That's just too long. That's too far for me. And we talked about the sacrifices that parents have to make for their children if they really want, to do something. And again, it goes back to like, if your kid wants to do this, are you going to, give them the opportunity to pursue it, or are you? I hate using the word selfish, but are you just going to kind of, take your time and be like, hey, it's just too far. I'm just gonna do what I want to do as a parent. And again, I'm not a parent, but I was raised that you kind of put your kids first before you do, before yourself. So I just think that's a cool cool story that you guys had. Obviously you drive more than an hour, or 45 minutes to an hour, especially when Lexy was little. You would even make a further trip just to get her out of that zone or that bubble, just to train with future Division One players, to and people that are just better in general than that community that you guys were in. So I think that's awesome. I think more parents need to kind of take a look at themselves in the mirror and see if they can be willing to do that, and put their children's dreams first.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a big difference. It definitely made a big difference for us. And just kind of adding to what we talked about earlier, it's like, and we still do this now, and I don't know if anybody's picked up on that, but so as a parent, one of the things that I learned earlier is that I need to get myself out of the teaching phase, right? So, and I mean in regards to Lex. So it's like I learned that we were butting heads. I learned that she was, I want to say I was almost stunning her growth because of the way that we were butting heads, and me trying to teach her things. So I discovered early that I had to, in order for her to be herself and reach her potential, I had to remove myself from that. Yeah. Now, obviously, there's still times when, we can get in the gym and we can shoot around and we can, work on some things or whatever. But like, even when she comes home, most of the times, unless I have, some other college kids and things that I'm specifically working with, she'll join your sessions. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's intentional. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like, and to the outside, it might look weird in a way of, he must not be that good because she doesn't even train with him. Do you know what I mean? That type of thing. But it's not that at all. It's, in order for her to reach her potential, she's got to hear a different voice. She's got to hear from different people. That's not me, because again, it's not going to come off the same from me. I remember early when, shout out Bryce, when I was first coming into, kind of, what is the right word? Is it moonlighting? Is it moonlighting for Bryce? That sounds weird too, but so, I used to, on the nights that Bryce would have off, I would teach the classes. And I remember even on my days off, I would come up and I would bring her to Bryce. Yep. And it'd be funny because, I would say we would have these heated sessions of, no, you need to do your feet like this, or you need to do your body like this. You're not doing it. And then she'd get in there with Bryce, and Bryce would tell her the exact same thing that I did. And it'd be like, oh, okay. But that's just, as a parent, you have to realize that, and you have to take a step back and just, okay, in order for you to reach your potential, here's what I need to do. Yeah. And that's coming from somebody who played basketball all their life, trained all their life, coached all their life. That means a lot. That takes a lot from me to actually, one, understand that, but realize that, hey, it's on me, no matter how much knowledge I know, and I'm sure, going back to LeBron James, I'm sure he's the same way. No matter how much I know, I know that there's only going to be so much that they're going to gain from me, because I'm dad at the end of the day.
Yep. And it's, I think it's a lot of, you have to set your ego aside, right? Because again,
that's true.
There's a lot of, men and women out there that played, basketball. Some played higher than us, some played lower, some played the same. But I think a lot of it is, like you said, like they're holding on to that, like, no, I'm this basketball, genius, and I know the game, and I'm gonna kind of let go, but I'm not really, and it's the same thing. Like, I get parents all the time. They're like, man, like it's insane. Like you said, I tell them the same thing, but when you say it, they do it, and I always tell them, like, yeah, well, that's why, and not jokingly, I'm like, yeah, well, that's why I'm afraid to have kids. Because then I know I'm just going to have to push them to Garry. No, I remember, when I, when I like filled in for Bryce, right, when he left, you and I had and I don't know if you remember this, but it was the very first Take Flight sweatshirt I got from you. We were in the parking lot, and you literally asked the same thing, like, hey, can when you have some time, can Lexy train with you? And I just thought that was like the coolest thing. I'm like, yeah, no doubt, anytime. And I still have that sweatshirt, man. I love that sweatshirt. I'm growing out of it. I think I got a size too small. But it's bulking. No, I'm just playing. But no, I just thought that was so cool because, we're in the same field, and I just thought it was awesome that there was no ego, like, oh, who's better than this, who's better than each other. It was just like, she needs to hear from a different voice. She needs to learn from this person and that person. Then like you talked about LeBron, like LeBron could be Sierra Canaan's coach if he wanted to.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, but he knows that he is in his own lane, and he could teach maybe Bronny or Bryce and the other players, something new that maybe Bron doesn't know. So it's the same way, like they don't, like, why does Bron still have a trainer? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because he's going to learn something new. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think part of it is parents just got to put their ego aside. Yeah. Their basketball ego, and be okay with somebody else teaching, saying the same thing, and just learning from a different person. Because, I know everyone wants credit. Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, I hate using the word, but you just got to stop being selfish at that point.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think, I mean, the only other thing that I would say or add to that, and it's more of a message to Lex and more of a message to everybody out there, is I don't think many people understand you had to crawl so that everybody else could run. And what I mean by that is everything that you had to go through in order for you to get to where you are. I look at that and I try to think to myself, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what would I do differently, what do I wish I would have done, and that is the product that everybody else is getting today. So, no knock to any other training places or anything like that, but for me, unless it was in our circle, I was like, no, I don't trust it. Do you know what I mean? But I see the benefits in some of those, some of the other places. And again, we know which ones are, no money grabs or anything like that. And then we don't hesitate to send people to some of those places based on, the way that you crawled, and the things that you've done. So I think that that's something that you have to, I won't say you have to, but I think that's something that you should know, something that you should be proud of, is that every product or every person that's come after you is a product of what you've been able to accomplish, good or bad, and how can we improve the product based on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Lex, I have a question for you.
What's up?
What has been the most challenging part of playing college basketball, on and off the court?
I think the most challenging part off the court would just be not to get bored of doing the same thing every day. Would that be off the court or would that be on the court?
I don't know.
I think that's kind
we're
of
not
both.
with you.
I think you can't get bored of doing the same thing every day because you're going to be doing the same thing every day for almost a year. Like,
And you're talking about practice or just everyday living?
just every day you wake up,
Yeah.
eat, go to practice, go to class, sleep. Same thing over and over again every single day. I think that's the most challenging part.
Okay.
Is the repetition and just not getting bored of doing the same thing every day.
When would you say that you kind of like fall into the routine of not getting bored? Is it like
Realizing that
halfway?
I get to do this. I think like I don't. It's not something I have to do, but I get to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Nice. I like that. All right. Thanks. You have another question for us?
Well, I want to know what
We'll bounce back and forth like a
what
basketball.
has been the most rewarding part? Like, if you could describe, like, so I always tell people that I get to see you live your best life, and by that I mean you've gone to many states that I've never been to. You've gone to many different places, I guess, in general. What has been the most rewarding part, do you think?
Honestly, well, when I look at videos, like sometimes I'll go like on my mom's Instagram and I like scroll all the way down to look at throwbacks or whatever, and I'll see like videos of me playing basketball when I was little, and I was just thinking like I didn't even want to do this when I was little. Like this wasn't even a thought, but now like things change so quickly, and now I'm doing something that I never thought I would even do. Like it wasn't even a thought. So it's just me basically working hard and actually accomplishing something that I wanted to do. When I realized that I wanted to do it.
And that was sophomore year, or?
I want to say it wasn't even until I got my first letter that I was like, oh, I could really do this.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. Now you are one of the funnest persons to watch on social media. And even when we, live stream your game or you guys are playing on ESPN, you always seem to be the first one off the bench during a timeout, and always see, the most cheerful person. So what is the relationship with you and your teammates and your coaches like over at Kent?
Oh, we're close. Like those are like my best friends, but we're just fun people. I mean, I've got lucky to be put in a group with girls that have such a great personality, and yeah, we take basketball serious. I mean, at that level, you have to, but it's not our life. Like we're more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we're outside of basketball, we really don't even talk about basketball outside of basketball.
Yeah.
We do it so often. It's just like, okay, we need time to breathe. So we're always making TikToks, always making videos, we talk to strangers. Like we'll just stop someone in their track on their way to class. And
your parents never told you not to talk to strangers?
No, I hate that rule. I haven't talked to a stranger. We don't care who we're talking to.
That's big facts. She does like she can literally hold a conversation with anybody.
I literally stopped someone and asked them, like, what did you eat for breakfast? Like, it's the most random question.
I remember we went, so literally, we had to take a flight to Kent to get her for physicals. So we had to get her there for physicals. And there was like I think a bunch of delays, and literally we were like, if the doctor was going to leave at 12, we were like landing at like 10:30, right? So I remember we land, and because we were running behind, rather than have us wait for all of our luggage and things like that, they had a coach come up, and they were waiting for her at the airport so that they could drive her back so that she can make the physical.
Oh, wow.
So coach picks her up, they go away, they go to get their physical, whatever, and we get there, and we walk in, and the coach says, "I don't think I've ever had a player literally talk to me as much as she did. Literally, from the time that I picked her up to the time that we arrived, which is an hour drive, she didn't stop talking." I said, "Well, yeah, that sounds about right."
And that's the first time you guys met?
That's the first time I've met him.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I've talked to him. But yeah, I'm not a shy person. Like, I'll talk to whoever about whatever any time of the day. I'm not shy. I think it's cool to talk to different people, all different kind of people.
Yeah.
I really like talking to people that don't play sports because what do you do with your time?
Yeah.
I don't get that. What do you do? What are your hobbies?
Wait, what are they called? Narfs?
NARPs.
Explain to the people what that stands for.
A non-athletic regular person. But I don't call them that to their face. It's kind of rude. But
You see a group of narps and you just go over there?
Yeah. Like, if someone's playing spike ball in the grass, like, can I play?
I don't know. Spike ball's pretty athletic.
Yo, dude, they take it so serious. Like, sometimes I'm like, all right, that was cool. I gotta go. Like, it's not that deep. But yeah, I'll be walking around like in a Kent sweatshirt, in a Kent basketball sweatshirt, and some like random people will be like, "Oh, I can beat you 1-on-1." Oh, can you? Okay. Where are you going? What class are you going to? The weather's nice. Like, just talking. Like, I don't want to talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Like, even when we're driving down the street, I'll roll down my window to the car next to us, or the person, like, I have so many videos of this on my Snapchat, but I'll like turn up the music in the car and I'll be like, hey, talking to the person on the sidewalk, and they'll just start dancing. I'm like, oh yeah. But then next thing you know, I'll see them at our game. So it's kind of like, that's cool. Like, I'm building a connection with people, and then they come to our games. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That
awesome. Is cool.
And especially nowadays, like, you build your, everything's on social media, so you build your fan base, your popularity, but also, I think the cool part is you're just being a kid.
Yeah.
You're not always just thinking about, one specific thing, because that can drain you. So, kind of leading into that, what advice would you give, young aspiring players to want to pursue college basketball, and what qualities do you think they need?
Some advice I would give them is just be yourself, honestly. You don't need to.
What? I'm intrigued.
I thought you were about to say something.
I was intrigued.
You don't need to look a certain way, be a certain way. Just be yourself. Even if you have the biggest personality, like, don't hide your personality. Coaches love that. Like, you always hear people talking about, or parents talking about, oh, be careful on social media. Like, don't post that. It's too much. But, like, show your personality. Obviously, there's a line of where to post and what not to post, but show your personality. You're going to get noticed, either way, but just be yourself and be a kid. Yeah. Don't let basketball ever don't let basketball take away the fun in life.
Nice.
That's taken me a very long way. I remember he used to tell me, like, I would get so frustrated if I played a bad game against someone good, or if I was frustrated I couldn't do something in training, but he'd be like, this is fun. Like, the challenge is the fun part. Like, not getting to where you want to be. That's not, like, that's cool and all, but, like, the way leading up to that, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Kobe said a lot of that too. He said, the I forget, I'm going to mess up the quote, but the dream is not the destination, but it's the journey.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us always forget that it's always about the destination and not what's going on, in between there. It's not we forget to kind of embrace the now and let the future come when it does. Which is why when you're done AAU and things like that, it's kind of like, man, I wish I could do that again. So yeah, embrace the now. Don't let that, don't let the destination or the goal kind of get in the way of just embracing it.
Yeah. Also, another thing I would say is don't look at other people's success or don't look at other people's paths. Like, everyone has their own path. Everyone's time is coming. Like, don't pay attention. Because I remember seeing, like, I was on a pretty good AE team, and I remember seeing girls getting offers, and I was like, whoa, is that supposed to be mine? Or, but then I realized, like, no, it's not my time yet, but it's definitely going to come. So just be patient and just have fun with life and everything you do.
Nice.
What is your saying?
Happy vibes only. HBO.
Yeah, and I think that you really live that. So that makes me happy. That makes me proud. To literally on social media, just living that happy vibes only, and it's literally just having fun every day, regardless of all the things that are going on.
Yeah, you got to. But I think it's hard sometimes. It's definitely hard sometimes because, like, sometimes people come up to me, like, if they see me wearing a camp basketball jersey, they'll be like, "What position do you play?" Left bench. I play left bench, but I think, a lot of people know I don't play. Like,
so my question is, how do you stay focused and motivated with that? We mentioned it earlier on a podcast, and I can't remember, but we had a parent in here, and he was talking to me while one of your games was on, and Garry was in there training, and they said, Gary's daughter doesn't play, and I just said no. She's young. She has every aspect, every ability, she's capable of playing. She's capable of starting, but it might not just be her time. And they kind of just looked at me and they were like, "Well, is Garry mad? Like, does Garry talk to the coach?" And I'm like, "No." Like, why would he? Like, it's all the programs with the transfer portal, there's going to be a time where you're going to have, and again, this isn't just on you, this is just to everybody, but there's going to be players that are going to be better than you. There's going to be players that are more skilled, more athletic, maybe more IQ, whatever it is. And you stating it in this podcast earlier that you started basketball late, all the players that maybe are on your team, maybe they are just a little bit further into their journey than you are. So they have maybe a little bit more time or experience. So I guess, how do you stay motivated, and focused through that long basketball season, knowing, you put in the work, you grind it out every day, but you still don't see, the PT that you want?
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the season's very, 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 very long.
Yeah.
I mean, the most you get off in a whole year is probably at most 2.5 months. So you're literally playing basketball from June to March. Like, that's every single day, besides like Christmas break and all that. But I'm not going to be miserable for 6 months straight. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't be sad every day for, like, just because I don't get minutes. I mean, I've definitely found a role where, like, I walk into practice every day saying, "Hey, I'm about to whip your butt today." I literally said this: "I'm whipping your butt today. If we play cutthroat, I'm whipping your butt today," knowing I'm not doing much with sit on the sidelines. So, but it's just like, I'm still here getting a free education, traveling to all these places. Like, we just played Oklahoma State. We went to Arkansas. Next year we're going to LSU. Like, I'm seeing all these things, and I get to do this stuff. Not many people get to do this, but I think that I like to say that there's, on every team, there's at least one player that has that spark or brings a team together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very important role. And I'm not saying like I'm good at that or anything, but I like to have a very close team, and I feel like I can be the one to do that. So I like to bring everyone together, whether that's having handshakes with people, dancing with people, goofing off with people.
Ringing the bell.
Yeah. Making TikToks, talking to the fans, like just bringing literally everybody together.
Yeah.
So I just think that's so fun. And
Yeah.
I think, and then there's going to be like, there's donors that come up to me after the game like, "Oh, like, I see you on social media all the time, like, keep dancing, doing all this, that." And it has nothing to do with basketball. It's always like, keep smiling, keep dancing, keep being you. I think that's so cool. Like, I don't play and you still notice me.
Yeah.
Like that.
Because people are attracted to that positive energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, even just way before, Garry and I talked, and even before this podcast, when I would see you and just that bell picture in that video is in my mind, of you ringing that bell, I'm like, you are like the glue of the team, right? Like I that's just my opinion. I think everyone follows you. I don't know much about Kent State women's basketball, but I don't know if they had any good seasons prior. I follow you now because you're on the team, but it just seems that you guys just kind of keep getting better, and I think that's a big part. Even with you on the team and not playing, you play much more of a bigger role for the entire team. And again, that's just in my opinion. I don't really know what all goes on, but just seeing it from the outside, you get attracted to that positive energy, and you're like, man, this girl, on this team, and they're just fun to watch. Let's just keep following what they do.
Yeah.
So I think you doing that, and I wish more people would kind of just see that and maybe follow it. But I love watching you. I love what you're doing. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see.
Yep. I am proud. I know Mom's proud. I know your brothers are proud. So
and your dogs.
And the dogs. So it's, yeah, making a good thing out of the situation is definitely, it's hard, I know, but you're doing it and you're making the best of it. You're embracing the role of being team glue and just making sure that you're bringing everybody together, and that's a role that not everybody can do. Mm-hmm. But making practices and everything as lighthearted as possible it's a skill in itself. So keep doing it, and like you said, time is going to come. Just keep working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happy vibes only.
Oh man, but wait, do we have to teach? Do you know what to do, or we have to teach you?
Come on, you know what to do. You're an avid
Peace something. Peace.
Something like that.
Something like that. You'll get it.
But yeah, I have to hop off. We have to train.
We actually have to play basketball now.
But one more thing before we leave. Lex, what happened to peace?
Peace.
Nice. There it was.
Oh man.